What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal bipedal type life to, what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life. But there are several that the U.S. government is aware of.
I'm aware that the United States is researching sentient plasmoids, and so is at least one private organisation. And this is a very interesting area because, of course, it doesn't just take in the orbs, it takes in everything that displays plasma. And is there, this is a really interesting question, is there some kind of life form that's sharing this planet with us that displays itself in different forms in a plasmoid way? I'm wondering whether there are private groups that are on the brink of a major discovery about this and not too far away from an impending announcement. Interesting times.
Was that a hint, Ross? One of your Ross hints?
Can't say any more.
All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed and you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Today's video is about Ross Coulthart and some comments he recently made on News Nation during his weekly Q&A podcast, where he was asked about David Grush's comments about plasmoid sentient beings, and he basically implied that an impending announcement is coming, that some private groups may have made a major discovery to sort of basically confirm aliens. Okay. So let's start with the comments that UFO whistleblower David Grush made exactly 1 week ago during a UAP press conference in Washington, D.C., where after the press conference, he was asked by press some different questions. And one of those questions was this.
So the time has come to stop asking the public to trust secret conclusions. Instead, provide an honest accounting of what it knows, what it's done, and what has been withheld. God bless America.
I think we have about 4 minutes before they call votes to open it up for a quick round of questions. So if you guys can let's start with Real America's Voice.
Great. I have a question for David Grush. Can you confirm for us how many species? Recent reports have said that there are perhaps 4 different alien species raised. How many species are you aware of?
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal bipedal type life to, what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life. But there are several that the U.S. government is aware of.
Now, these comments that David Grush made is what got everybody talking, right? Like, what is he saying? Bipedal and plasmoid, sentient beings? Like, what is he talking about, right? He's not exactly giving the canned answer of, grays and reptilians and Nordics and, you know what I mean? So people were wondering what the hell he's talking about, right? And, well, it seems that Ross Coulthart may have some information about that.
What does Ross think about Grush mentioning several specific types of NHI, sentient plasmoid and corporeal bipedal extraterrestrials?
Well, I'm not going to give away anything from the Steven Spielberg film, but I'll tell you, that was the weirdest part for me, is going from the Steven Spielberg film, where, let's just say, one becomes aware of the possibility of bipedal humanoids that aren't human. And then the next day, David's standing on the steps of the Capitol, a man who was cleared for 2,000 special access programs plus, a man who delivered the presidential daily brief to the White House personally in a briefcase. This is a guy who knew and knows the secrets of the United States related to UAPs. And yes, he referred to a range of beings. This is echoing, of course, what Dr. Eric Davis gave testimony on in the Congress recently, where Eric talked about 4 species. David Grush particularly referred to bipedal humanoid beings, which I take to be both the Nordics and the Greys. If such beings exist, of course, one must keep an open mind, through to what he referred to as sentient plasmoids. Now, this is really interesting because there is evidence of sentient plasmoids. We know from Story Musgrave's evidence as an astronaut that he saw what he believed were plasmoids apparently operating intelligently in proximity to the space shuttle that he was on. And he talked about this publicly for a while before I'm sure he was told to shut the hell up. I'm aware that the United States is researching sentient plasmoids, and so is at least one private organization. And this is a very interesting area because, of course, it doesn't just take in the orbs, it takes in everything that displays plasma. And is there, I mean, this is a really interesting question, is there some kind of life form that's sharing this planet with us that displays itself in different forms in a plasmoid way? I'm wondering whether there are private groups that are on the brink of a major discovery about this and not too far away from an impending announcement. Interesting times.
Was that a hint, Ross? One of your Ross hints?
Can't say any more.
Gotcha. I'm on to you.
Now, I mean this with the utmost respect, mind you, to Ross. This hinting at, things is just tiring. He's essentially talking about confirming aliens, right? Which would be the biggest discovery in the history of mankind. And it's basically treated like a joke, sort of, right? Like on his show, right? I'm telling you, I'm hinting, wink, wink, this is gonna happen. This is why I use the word bombshell so much, right? To play into the fact that this is what happens, right? Almost daily or multiple times a week, comments like this are made, which would in and of themselves be groundbreaking, allegations, right? That this is going to happen, this impending announcement, excuse me. And they're just made all the time, willy-nilly, wink, wink, and then, what's going to happen, right? It really is just crumbs to feed the pigeons. And guess who's the pigeons? Yeah, we are. And again, I mean the utmost respect to Ross. This just gets old, right? So if he knows something, just say it, right? It's such a weird thing, to be honest with you, but we'll have to wait and see what this is. Like usual, wait and see. Is there some impending private groups plural, that are going to be what? Revealing a major discovery about plasmoid sentient beings? Is that why David Grush said it? And what's a private group that's out there that could possibly do this, right? Well, I covered one in my psionics documentary, Skywatcher, and they have absolutely studied orbs and plasmoids, right? Are they one of the groups? The Soul Foundation with Dr. Gary Nolan, and Dr. Gary Nolan has advised with Skywatcher, right? So that's interesting, right? And you got Disclosure Fund, I think it's called, or something. I mean, there's a lot of groups out there. I don't know, but Skywatcher and Soul Foundation seem to be the two at the top that could be, revealing this major discovery. And will they provide evidence to the public? Right? I don't know. I kind of have a feeling this may have something to do with Skywatcher, especially with David Grush's connection to Skywatcher, right? So I don't know. Is it all part of a plan, right? Now, granted, Grush was asked that question in the Q&A. It's not like he served up that information. And I remember hearing the live stream when that happened. Like, wait a second. Why wasn't the whole press conference about that? Tell us what you know about NHI, right? Let's see the photos, right? Because in that same press conference, I just made a video about it. He talked about he had just seen photo evidence of the crashed recovery vehicles and described the vehicles, right? So what's the evidence he's seen of these plasmoids and bipedal aliens, which bipedal, two-legged, the odds of that happening are just so rare that the aliens that have come here or interdimensional or whatever are also walking around on two legs. The odds of that happening are crazy, right? So again, just very weird. And why say that? And what does that mean? And then he says, well, yeah, we got plasmoid and we got this and there's some other one. Well, we'll say them. Why are we talking about anything else? That's the thing we want to know about, right? Like, we literally showed up for that. That's what that press conference is about. For that information about aliens to come out to the public. It's about nothing else, right? So why wouldn't you talk about that the most? Tell us everything you know about that. The whole conversation should be around that and getting that evidence out. Anything else is a distraction. So I'm sure Grush, maybe he just needs to be asked about it, right? I don't know. I'm just confused, as always, with this stuff. It becomes very confusing. So will there be some impending announcement like Ross is saying? Probably, right? And of course, these things get told behind the scenes to all kinds of people, and they sit on it and wait till the right moment when they're told they can talk about it, right? And then again, it just makes you question, who are the real gatekeepers, right? We keep saying the government is gatekeeping information, but seems to me a lot of UFO journalists and researchers are also gatekeeping information. Now, they may have good reason to do it. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing in their position, but it's why I don't put myself in their position, right? I don't have secret sources to tell me things, because then you're left with this burden, right? I would just want to spill the beans. And they would make you feel, no, you got to hang on. You got to wait till we tell you and this. And then they coordinate with other podcasters and researchers to kind of have it come out. Right. Watch. When this thing happens that Ross is talking about, you'll see other people start talking about it. You may even see other people mention it right before it happens. Right. And there'll be stories ready to go right when it comes out. I don't know. Again, very confused. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget to check out Betted's very first feature documentary, Psionics, The Minds That Summon UFOs. It is still available on our website, psionics.film. Go support the film if you haven't already. That way we can make another one and you can support independent filmmaking and independent UFO research that's not tied to the government and no agendas. And right, you ask for boots on the ground research. Well, I'm trying to do that, but I need your help. So go to psionics.film and support. All right, betters, we'll see you on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.